didn't think it'd be long before you come out with
Yeah,
it.
well, had to happen eventually.
It had to happen eventually because, to be fair to you, you've done a variant on the black and yellow. We talked about the Eternal Optimist, didn't we?
We did indeed.
For very, very early on in the year.
Yep.
You converted that during the course of the season.
Yep.
And come up with this fly, which I can name myself.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
It's called the Posh Tosh.
It is indeed, mate.
Tosh being a traditional name for yellow and black.
Yes.
And posh because...
I tarted it up a bit. I put some fairly modern materials into it and just, I was looking for a fly that would really show up in coloured water.
And we're talking about September now,
We're now into September, mate, so we're on to bigger flows, bigger water flows. We're getting into, we're not quite fishing into dark, but the nights are drawn in.
Yep.
You're fishing length of time, you're on the river, you're coming off the water now 6:30, 7 o'clock. You're fishing into darkness, and this fly really shows up just in the grey dark. Shows up tremendous in peat stain and in coloured water.
Yeah. So there are special things. What I notice about the fly myself is that basically you've run more crystal into the top, more crystal flash.
Yeah, again, 4 strands of crystal here. Again, I was looking for a very bright fly. I wanted something that really stuck out, you know. The fluorescent yellow Arctic fox we use in this in conjunction with, again, the fluorescent yellow hackle and the body material, really, not only does it make the fly shine, it also seems to make the water round about it glow. It's quite a funny thing when you see it in peat stain or murky water. It really shines, you know. And I've had a lot of fish on this, a lot of success on this.
Dyed jungle cock.
Dyed jungle cock. Again, I tried it with natural jungle cock, and I thought, no, I want something just a little bit brighter again, just to get that brightness into it. And we went down the route of a dyed.
Why not orange?
Hot orange.
The expression "do I not like orange" doesn't come into the salmon's vocab, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, they love orange.
It's a total contrast to the black and yellow. It really sticks out against it, and it's worked very well.
And I've seen you tie these before. I have to admit that. And your pièce de resistance is what you wax lyrical about is the body, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
The body of this is a UTC Mirage Opal tinsel. At the moment, it looks a very sort of white, greeny tinge to it. Whatever colour you put round about it, whether it be yellow, it takes on this lovely. I mean, you wouldn't even think it was coming from the same.
No, you wouldn't.
Spool, you know. As I said to you, it really sticks out. It really sticks out. Takes the colour, seems to reflect that colour back out the way. I've seen it tied as a silver stope with that material, and it's a right white, almost a bright white colour.
I'll go as far as to say it actually enhances the look of it, because you're quite right. You wouldn't think that was exactly the same material.
You would think it was totally different.
And for me, the compelling thing about this fly is you've got that very, very big come on right at the front of the fly. So you've got a strike point right at the front. Because if we're talking about September, especially on Tweed, we're talking about the big autumn boys.
Yeah, they're starting to appear.
You need something quite big.
You do. We're into colder water. The water's coming down, hence the reason this is quite a long wing in it, but I do tie them with a long wing. I like the Posh Tosh to have a long wing on them. And it's a really good fly. I've had some great success with it. Underneath the black wing, we've also put in what we call electric yellow angel hair, which again just gives it that little bit of flash. You can see it there. Silver Arctic fox over the top. This is lovely, long, very mobile, very, very mobile hair. It gives the fly a lot of movement to it. And again, then with the orange jungle cock eyes, and it just sets it off.
That's good. The thing is about having what I call the strike point, i.e. a lot going on at the front of the fly, is because sometimes with long-winged flies, the fish can just come up behind it and just give it a nip without getting hold of any of the business of the hook.
Again, if you give them something to aim for, they're going up the front end of the fly.
Right at the front and then crumps.
Yeah.
To me, that is probably the epitome of the autumn salmon fly.
Yeah, certainly.
Really, really... The enhancement of an old, tried and tested traditional pattern.
Also, I mean, you're starting. There's not so much leaves starting to go, but we're now starting to go back the way now.
Yeah.
We're losing these bright colours. We're going the other way now. The oranges are starting to come out.
Yeah.
So again, we're into September, getting into the autumn of the year. So
Yeah. The other thing, talking about the practicality of the fly tyres are, perhaps in, I don't know, the turn of the century or the 20th century, the early part of the 20th century, they tied yellow and black. They just didn't have this kind of stuff available to them.
No,
they had hair, and yes, they had feather and stuff like this, but the kind of tinsels, the variations we use today, just would have been beyond their dreams, wouldn't
they'd probably been basically a wire. Maybe didn't even have a body. They would just maybe tie on the two different colour hair, and that may be it, you know. But as I said, as the years have progressed, we've got into tinsels, wires, so many synthetic materials now, and again, we're getting different hair from all over the world, and what a difference it makes.
Yeah, mobility and impact again.
Yeah.
So, I tell you what, would that fly be in my box? No, it wouldn't. Do you know why? It'd be on the end of the line. Absolutely, for sure. Fish that, 100% confidence.
Yep, I do.
It deserves
It does. It's a good fly. It's a good catch and fly.
Aye.
Yep.